So, do you have bad news you need to share with somebody? Maybe you have to enforce some rules or do some other things that are typically not received with much love. Here's the good news. It may not be as bad as you think. I'm Brandy Lawson with FieryFX. We are a boutique digital agency and help influential women leaders ignite their businesses online. And I'm here to share some marketing insights with you. And this comes from actually me seeing a couple things happen and being like, darn it, I think that really was a missed opportunity. So bad news. Have you ever had to send out bad news or enforce a rule? It happens in Facebook groups. It happens in real life. Maybe you screwed up. Maybe something didn't go the right way. And so then you have to tell somebody about it. In fact, one of these, and sometimes it's just like rule enforcing, stupid stuff. So if you are a citizen of the women company and you've been in a bathroom, you've probably seen a little sign in there that tells you what you should and should not flush down the toilets. And obviously it's there for a reason. I always look at something like that and think, oh, that's too bad, because they probably didn't think we're going to put up one of these signs before something bad happened. So something bad happened, and then they're like, hey, only, in fact, specifically in a marina out on the lake, the sewer systems are a little delicate, and so they try to make sure that they maintain them. And it's just the boring little sign like, our systems are delicate, please, blah, blah, blah. I think this is a missed opportunity. This is a missed opportunity to engage your audience and reinforce your brand and get them to pay attention. Sometimes it's enforcing the rules like members only. People do stuff, people break rules, people bend rules, and then every once in a while you have to set them right again. But instead of being like, the rule is to blah, 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 nobody's going to listen and it falls on deaf ears. Or worse, like bad news. Hey, I screwed up. I didn't do what I was supposed to do, or things that we were counting on didn't go our way. These are all opportunities for you to actually endear yourself to your audience. GDPR is another one that comes to mind. Everybody got a notification. They all read like paint drying. So here's a couple tips about how to turn this otherwise not so great or very boring or typically very formal thing into something that helps build your brand and market your company. So first is make it interesting. For the love of God, please make it interesting. We've all seen the same signs. But what catches our attention is something different. So think about how you make it different. Now, these are all very subjective. These all depend on your audience. These all depend on your voice. So don't be going and doing something racy if your audience is very conservative. But make it interesting, sort of like my positioning of, well, bad news is not always bad news. You could do something great with it. Some good examples I have seen is using humor. Again, bathroom signs are a great example, as I've seen some really good ones shared on Facebook where they've injected humor. So either there's a funny picture with it or some sort of funny saying or a little poem. Poems in bathrooms tend to stick with people. But if there's some way to make it interesting, that will engage people. And so humor is one way, and then the unexpected is another way. So you can pull in something that's very unrelated and then make it related. So make it interesting. Next is use your voice. So your brand or your company. So if we're thinking about the marina in this case, there's sort of a very like a lake attitude, right? You've seen the lake hair, don't care. We're here for relaxing. It's sort of the like Kenny Chesney song come to life. There's a lot of country songs with this sort of boat mentality. So use that. If you're in a marina, use that boat mentality and bring it in. Same thing with your brand. If your brand's sassy or even if your brand is formal, you can use that tone of voice to help relate this and use it as a place to reinforce your brand when you're even on signs. Where was the other sign? I see signs all the time that are such a missed opportunity. At the fast food restaurants that say they only carry small bills. that's another opportunity. Like, make it interesting. It may not be something you need your audience to, you need to stick with your audience. If it is, even the better, but use your voice. And then find their give a damn. Why do they care? So back to this members only thing. So there was a notification that went out on Facebook and on Instagram and in an email newsletter about, behind these certain gates, it's really for members only. You must, these are the rules. And members like blah, blah, blah rules. Why do they care? Why do they care if, because maybe they have valuable stuff there. Maybe because it is exclusive. They are paying for access. So, if it's going to continue to be exclusive, then we want to make sure that only members have access. So these really are the opportunities to, once you make it interesting and you use your voice, figure out why the hell they care. Back to the toilet thing is like, unless you enjoy using a plunger, these are the things that go in the toilet. Why do they care? How will it impact their life? So use that. When it's bad news, obviously they probably already care, but that empathy, this is the part where you can bring in some empathy and empathize with their situation. It's really disappointing when these kind of things happen. I'm disappointed too. So, share their side of the table if it's bad news. If it's rules, figure out why they care. So that's a couple tips to help you turn a bad news or rule enforcement into an opportunity to connect even deeper with your audience and reinforce your brand with them, make them an even bigger advocate of what it is you do. So hope to see you next time for these marketing tips and tricks and insights from me, Brandy Lawson with FieryFX.